Hi everyone, welcome to Karen's Corner. Hope everyone's doing well. Sun is out today, so I'm happy about that. So for today, we're gonna get into our hips a little bit. Mine are feeling like super tight, and we've been sitting a lot lately, watching a lot of TV, doing a lot of computer work, probably do a lot of online shopping. So I thought we would move around a little bit, get a little bit of a motion going on there. And we also hold a lot of emotions in our hips. And there's a lot going on, so there's a lot being held. So for today's class, you're going to need a couple of blocks, a strap, and we're going to need a bolster at toward the end of class. So I have a bolster, but if you do not, you can make one really quick by taking your two blocks, placing them end to end, and then putting one of your blankets on top of that, and voila, you have a bolster. So when we get to that point, and if you don't have one, you can make one up really quick. Also, today's reading and message will be coming from Dana Folds. I had shared her readings in class before and on tape. She is one of my favorite poets out of the Berkshires on the East Coast, and really just writes from her heart. And just about everything she writes really touches me, and I've had students say they resonate with them as well. So it's coming from the book From Root to Bloom by Dana Folds, F-A-U-L-D-S. So let's get started. Come on down on your mats. While we settle in, take a couple of blankets, one up by your head, the other one folded in half. And then work your way all the way down onto your back, so that middle blanket is right underneath your heart. So the shoulders fall in between the two, and just begin to relax here. So take your time, make sure you're comfortable, snuggle in a little bit. Let the palms rest comfortably to the side or on your belly. And then once you get settled in, take a few breaths here. And notice whether or not this is going to be comfortable for you. So relax the feet, let them fall away from each other. And if at any time this becomes uncomfortable, just simply bend the knees or bring the soles of the feet together, or make any sort of modifications that bring you back to a place of ease, a place of sweetness. So once you have settled in, close the eyes, shift the gaze down toward the heart, and then just take a moment here to be still. And most of the time, coming to stillness is a really conscious act, and sometimes doesn't come without a lot of effort. So if you find yourself really focusing on being still, you'll notice that the mind becomes loud, and then every little noise or energy you'll pick up on. So if that's happening to you, take a moment to acknowledge that you hear birds chirping or a fan going overhead. Feet in the distance, a siren, maybe even a clock ticking. So after you've acknowledged all that, yes, it's going to be there. Let's give the mind something to think about by shifting your awareness now, your focus to your breath, and inviting that breath to anchor you throughout your practice. So if you're like me, you're going to have to return to the breath like it would seem like 1,000 times. But each time we do that, it brings us back to this present moment. So I bring myself back to my breath without judgment.
And begin to follow the breath in and out. Just noticing how long the inhale is, how long the exhale is. Nothing to fix or correct here. You're simply observing the breath. And if you find that you're really struggling with the breath, sometimes it helps to count. So a couple of counting options. You can count breathing in 1, breathing out 2, breathing in 1, breathing out 2. Or if your preference is to count the length of the inhale versus the exhale, count however long it takes you to breathe in. So that may be 3, 4, 5, 7 counts, and then count the exhale as you release. And then if you're like me, the mind will wander after 3 or 4 times. Just simply come back to counting. And you may want to work your way up to like 10 breaths. You think 10 doesn't sound like very many, but the mind can be pretty powerful, particularly in stillness. So go ahead and take 2 or 3 more mindful breaths here, staying right where you are. And then gently releasing your attention, taking in these words. The name of the poem is 10 Breaths. I count out 10 deep breaths before I enter the adventure of my practice. 10 breaths bring myself present in the here and now. Ignited by awareness, energy wakes and carries me from effort into ease. Presence itself breathes through me, the unseen substance of love, so tangible and strong that each long breath offers up the key to my release. So allow these next few breaths to keep you present, inviting you into your practice, bringing you to the here and now, and carrying you from a place of effort into ease. And then begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, walk the feet wide as your mat, and then bring some movement back into your earthen vessel by just shifting the knees from one side to the other, hanging out in one place if that feels right for you. Just like our breath is unique to each one of us, we don't breathe the same. Move with the rhythm of your breath, so we all move at a different pace. And with the uniqueness of your breath, you make your practice unique as well. So personalize your practice in any way here. Hold on one side, continue in movement, maybe lift the toes up and wiggle the toes. Stretch the arms overhead. Moving your body in any way that feels right for you. Moving away from effort, softening into ease. And then eventually roll yourself all the way over to the right side. So movement sometimes can take us out of the present moment. Pause here for a breath cycle. Invite that in-breath and out-breath to bring you back to the here and now. And then use your arm strength to lift yourself up, removing all the props, the blankets, anything you use to support you, off to the side, and work your way onto your back once again. And then take a moment here to move the body in any way as well. So you may want to stretch the legs out, point the fingers in one direction and the toes in the other. You may want to continue to bend the knees and move in this way as well, waking up the hips a little bit. And then coming back to center, keeping that left leg either straight or bent, your choice. Draw the right knee in, give yourself a nice squeeze. Maybe roll the ankle in one direction and then the other, separate the toes. And then holding onto your shin or bringing your palm underneath your knee. Take an inhale here, and on the exhale, you're going to release that right knee out to the side. Drop back to center on the in-breath. Moving in and out, maybe even in a circle here. I heard a phrase this week, and that motion is lotion. We're kind of lubricating up that hip a little bit. I really liked that. Motion is lotion. And if you're moving your knee in a circle, remember to reverse the circle. And then coming back to center, cross that right ankle over the left knee. So cross it over so you're not bone on bone. Fire up those toes. And then with the help of your palm, just gently begin to nudge your thigh or knee away. Option to keep the eyes closed here. Count the breath. Brings you back to the here and now. Relax the shoulders here, soften the belly. Notice if you've tightened up the shoulders. Good, one more breath. And then gently releasing, interlace your fingertips behind your left leg, draw your knees in. Again, you're firing up those right toes, maybe fire up the left ones as well. If you want to add a little rock here, that's fine. Pause for the breath, take it in. Yeah, sometimes this right here can show you how much effort you're making in releasing those hips. So again, notice if you picked up the head and the shoulders, see if you can add a little ease there. And then on your next exhale, drop that left foot down, still keeping the ankle crossed. Bring your arms out to the side, and then release both knees over to the right. If this is too intense, just uncross. So stay here for a few breaths, inviting the breath into the left side body, even the option to take those fingertips up overhead, shifting the gaze over toward your arm. Full breath in here, full breath out. Beautiful. This is so relaxing. Inhale, come back to center. Again, still keeping that ankle crossed. Slide that left leg long. And then just let the knee feel heavy here. Just surrender into gravity. Close the eyes, feel the breath. Maybe even when we pause, coming back to counting, breathing in 1, breathing out 2, breathing in 1, breathing out 2. And then from here, keeping that left leg extended, bring that right foot to the inner thigh so you're in like a tree pose. Fire up that left leg now, like you're standing on the wall. Curl those toes back towards your shins. Nice strong legs. There's a lot of energy down that left leg, but the right knee is still relaxing. Let the belly feel soft. Upper body soft, breath is soft. And then gently begin to draw that right knee back in. Give yourself a squeeze. Bring the left knee in to meet it. A nice hug, maybe a little rock. And then just like the breath, personalizing it in any way. Moving the ankles around, the toes. And then coming back to center, drop that right foot down now, either bending the knee or leg extended, whatever is your preference. Hug the left knee in. Circle the ankle in one direction, then the other. It's amazing how many little pops and cracks you get out with just this little simple movement. Coming back to that phrase I love, motion is lotion, right? And then from here, with the pace of your breath, you're going to release that knee out to the side, bring it back to center, out to the side, back to center, maybe circle it around, maybe holding it for a few breaths. Holding the pose, not the breath. Closing your eyes, really juicing up that left hip now in its socket. Maybe even observing how this side could feel a little different from the right. Yeah, we hold stuff in the hips, but the right side of the body always seems to feel a little different from the left. And then coming back to center, this time cross that left ankle over the right here. Fire up those toes, and then with the elbow of your palm, begin to nudge that left leg away from you any amount. So we're working just on the lower body right now. So resist the urge to curl your shoulders, clench your jaw. Allow the breath to bring you back to this moment. So stay present with the breath. We already know how the sequence is going to go on this side. So just enjoy the breath here. And then interlace your fingertips behind your right leg, drawing those knees in. Again, those toes are activated. Shoulders are soft, heart is open, throat is soft. Breath taking us from a place of effort into ease, bringing us back to the here and now. On an out breath, release that right leg down to the mat. Knees go to the left as the arms come out to the side. And again, if this is too intense on this side, just uncross your legs. After you've settled in, add on. Right fingertips go up overhead, maybe even gazing over to the right. Close the eyes, take in the breath. On an in-breath, gently come back to center, arms come back down to the side, keeping those ankles crossed. Slide that right leg long. Invite a little softness into the belly. Knee becomes heavy. Gently bringing that left leg to the inner thigh here. Fire up the right leg this time. Curl the toes back towards you like you're coming into a tree pose. So in tree pose, that right leg is energized. It's your strength. The upper body is soft. The branches move with the wind, right? In the tree pose. Gently bring that left knee in towards you. Right knee comes in to meet it. Give yourself a squeeze, moving any way that feels right. Knee circles, rocking from side to side. And then option here to rock yourself up or roll over to one side. And if you roll to one side, lift yourself up. So you want to work your way to a seated position on your mat with the legs extended.
So take the opportunity here, maybe place a blanket underneath your bum, and you're gonna need one of your blocks and a strap. So grab those as well. Take the block, place it down towards your feet. Grab your strap. So starting with the right leg is going to be extended long. And then we're going to bring that left knee in, coming back to that tree pose. So if your leg doesn't come all the way down, like the right knee doesn't, take that other block and then just place it underneath your knee. And there's my phone. So cross. And there you go, there's the phone. So this is the opportunity of taping live with a phone in your room because I forgot to turn the phone off. So how about that? So grab that strap and place it around the end of the block. So you're going to come into that nice big tree pose, only seated. Hold both ends of the strap in each of the hands. Sit up nice and tall, nice long spine. Inhale here. And then on an exhale, you're going to gently melt your heart forward. Just go down a little bit of a ways. Wait for the body to adjust. And then exhale down a little more. Inhale here, lengthen. Exhale down a little bit more. So that right leg is really fired up here. Pause when you've reached your edge. Take a moment to breathe into that. Find the ease here. Use the breath to get there. And then inhale, rise all the way back up. Good. Shake it out. And then we'll move to the other side. So let that block find your way to the left side. And because I'm nursing a little bit of an injury here, I'm going to, and my knee doesn't come all the way down on this side, I'm going to take that block and place it underneath my right knee for support. Hold both ends of the strap in each palm. Take an inhale here, fire up that left leg, and then on an exhale, slowly lower down. Taking your time. This side, you may go a little farther, this side you may not. So just take it to a place that's perfect for you. Take your time. Breath brings you back to the here and the now, into the ease. Right knee is relaxing as well. Good, one more breath, and then inhale, rise all the way back up. Nice job. Set the blocks to the side. Work your way to a tabletop pose. And while you work your way to a tabletop pose, I'm going to go turn my phone off. This is why we tell people to turn their phones off during practice, right? There you go. Come to tabletop, palms underneath your shoulders. Go ahead and begin to move through a few cat-cows here. Again, personalizing your practice, circling the hips, maybe curling the toes, maybe uncurling the toes, exploring in any way. And then eventually work your way to a child's pose. So let the big toes kiss, hips separate, heart melts forward. See if you can come back to that breath, maybe even counting it again. We're going to hold here for a few breaths. So you may work your way up to 3 breaths, 5 breaths, maybe even 10. The breath is unique to you. And so is this child's pose. So active child's pose with the elbows up. You can relax the forearms down or float the palms down by the soles of your feet. Always the option too to bring the forehead to the mat or to a block, and then just shift your head from side to side. Just kind of massaging that third eye. And then slowly begin to work your way back to your tabletop. We'll get into the shoulders just a little bit to work out all the stuff that we hold in our neck. So coming back to your tabletop. Inhale, float your right fingertips up overhead. Option to follow the gaze. Exhale, release it underneath your left shoulder. Breathe back up. Exhale, release. One more time, inhale, lift up. This time, drop that right arm all the way underneath your left. Bring that right ear, right cheek to the mat. Stay here or add on. Crawl those left fingertips up overhead. Always the option to send that left leg long behind you, pressing the toes into the mat, or lifting the leg up. After a few breaths, see if you can tip your heart up toward the sky just a little bit more. Good, and then slip that knee back underneath the hip. Slide the palm in front of your face. Use your arm strength to lift you up. And work yourself through a few cat-cows. Coming back to tabletop. Palms underneath the shoulders. Inhale, left fingertips go up overhead. Follow the gaze if you wish. Float that left arm underneath the right. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, underneath. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, all the way down, left ear, left cheek to the mat. So stay here for a breath and then decide if you want to add on. And you may not want to add on to this side. Right arm up overhead, right leg extended long, toes in the mat, or leg lifted. Come back to the inhale, come back to the exhale, and then see if you can tilt your heart up toward the sky a little bit more. Good, and then slip that knee back underneath the hip, palm slides in front of the face, arm strength lifts us back to a tabletop, and then a few cat-cows here. And then from here, you can lift yourself up into a down dog if you have a down dog in your practice. If you do, go ahead and pedal out the heels. If down dog is not going to work for you, slide the palms next to the knees, roll over onto the soles of your feet, and come to a forward fold. So if you're in down dog, pedal out the heels. If you came to a forward fold, just bend the knees a little bit, bring the chest to the thighs, bend and straighten the knees, maybe lift up the toes. And then if you're in down dog, walk your feet up towards your palms so you're standing at the top of your mat. So you're in a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow.
Good, nice gentle bend in the knees here, a micro bend to protect that lower back. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Good, one more time. Inhale, lift up halfway. And then gently bow, hands to the hips. With nice strong legs, go ahead and lift yourself all the way up. Couple of shoulder rolls forward and back. And then coming to stand at the top of your mat. So like yoga teaches us about balance. So we're going to do a couple little balance poses, still getting into those hips here. So anchor through your right foot, the second and third toe pointed forward, and resist the urge to lock your knee. So coming into tree pose, if you're ready for tree, you can move right to it. If you want to take it in baby steps, make yourself a little kickstand. Then stack the feet. This may be right where you are today, just in balance. Because lately it's been hard to find some balance in our lives, right? But when you're ready, or if you're ready, slide that foot above or below the knee, any places except right on the knee. Work on trying to get that hip open just a little bit more. Lift up through the heart, nice strong tree here. Lower body's doing the work. And you can either stay here in prayer pose, hands on the hips. Take the arms up overhead again. Just like the breath, we personalize our practice. We do what's right for us in this present moment. So maybe you usually take a full tree. Maybe today, the present moment tells you to just be still. And then as you release your next breath, release from the pose, go ahead and shake it out. And then keeping the feet about hip-width distance apart, bring the palms to the heart, close the eyes. Just take a moment here to come back to your breath. Close the eyes here. Count the breath in, count the breath out. And then gently blink the eyes open. We'll shift to the other side now. Anchor through that left foot. If you're ready for tree, feel free to move right to it. If you want to take this side in little baby steps, kickstand, stack the feet, and then the foot slides all the way up the leg here. Personalize your tree in any way. Working that left knee out to the side so the front of the body is fully open. And then exhale and bring that left foot down to meet the right. Once again, close the eyes, palms in front of the heart. Smooth out the breath. Bring yourself back to this moment. So lots of times judgment creeps in if balance didn't work for us today. So just notice that. Invite yourself back to your practice with your breath. Shifting from effort into ease, into the here and now. And then blink your eyes open. Inhale, float the arms up overhead. When you're ready for your out breath, fold at the waist, lower all the way down. Walk yourself back to a down dog or roll over onto your hands and knees, coming back to tabletop. If you're in down dog, release the knees to the mat, and then we'll all take a child's pose here. So hips go back toward the heels. Forehead and heart melt to the mat.
breaths here, guys. And then slowly begin to rise all the way back up. Slide those palms back towards your knees. Shift your hips to one side. So we're going to come into a couple of twists here before we move to our modified pigeon pose. So release the knees, walk the feet wide, about at least mat width distance apart. Move the knees from side to side here. Palms behind you to support. And then the next time your knees are over to the right, release them completely. So that hip is going to come up, and then one knee is going to come to the instep of the opposite foot. Shift your heart over the bent knees. Take an inhale here to lengthen. And then on exhale, begin to melt your heart over your bent knees. Take your time. You come to your forearms. You can come all the way down. You can even walk your arms all the way out here so you find a lot of length in the side body. And then after a few breaths, you can stay here. If you do want to take in the full twist, keeping that length in the side body, walk the palms all the way toward the back of the mat. Close the eyes once again, tap into the breath. And then on an in-breath, begin to walk your palms back over the bent knees, and then a little closer to you, rising all the way back up. Good. Rise back to center. Find that hip width distance, the mat distance apart with your feet. Move them from side to side. Shake out those hips. And then the next time the knees are over to the left, release them all the way down. That front hip's going to come up. Shift the heart over the bent knees. Take an in-breath to lengthen. And then an exhale to melt. So same option here, releasing over that bent knee. Stay here, or keeping the length, you can walk those palms all the way to the back once again. So you're taking the twist in the opposite direction. One more breath here. And then slowly begin to walk yourself back over the bent knee. And then walk your palms a little closer to you. Great. Now we're going to do a modified pigeon. So here's where you're going to need your bolster. So I'll give you a couple of heartbeats here if you don't have a bolster, to go ahead and make that makeshift bolster that I mentioned at the beginning of class with the 2 blocks and then a blanket over. Then you're going to come facing the top of your mat, and then you're going to take that same knee position that we were just doing with the right leg as parallel to the front of the mat as is comfortable for you. So for me, because I'm nursing a knee injury here, I'm going to draw that foot in just a little bit more to make that knee more comfortable. Bring the bolster as close to you as is comfortable. So if your shin is parallel, the bolster will be parallel to your shin. That left hip is going to be up. Inhale here.
And then on your exhale, you're going to lean forward. So it's a little more intense than the pose that we were just doing. So you're going to lean straight forward. That right knee is going to be on the outside of your hip here. Leaning a little forward. You just take it to a place that's comfortable. You're going to feel that in your hips. If you want to come to full pigeon and you have a full pigeon practice, that's great. If you do want to add on here, bring that left palm to the sole of your right foot. And you can activate those toes, and then you can give that foot just a little bit of energy here, which you'll feel in the hips as well. Breathe through the effort until you find that ease. Got a couple of more breaths. And then we'll slowly begin to rise all the way up. Soles of the feet come to the mat. Go ahead and shake it out. And then we'll go to the other side. So the left shin comes parallel to the mat. Bolsters parallel to the shin. Take an inhale here, and then on the exhale, you're going to begin to melt your heart forward. So you may have to pause halfway down, take it a little deeper. And then when you get there, if you want to still add a little more energy, right palm can press into that foot, so that left foot is activated as well, and you'll feel that more in the hip as well. Breathe into it. You've got this. And then slowly begin to rise all the way back up. Yeah, those hips should start feeling super good now. Soles of the feet to the mat. Go ahead and shake it out a bit. And then extending your legs long. Center yourself on your mat if you're not already there. Pull the belly in, arms out to the side, and with an open heart, use your breath to slowly lower yourself all the way down. Once you're there, hug the knees in, maybe take a full body stretch. And then hugging both knees in, give yourself a nice squeeze. Good. Separate the knees, slide the arms inside, palms come to the soles of your feet, happy baby pose. And then plant the feet to the mat, arms out to the side. Let the knees drop to the right here. You can take that pose that we did during warm-up by bringing that bottom foot to the top leg. Left arm can float overhead. Or just take a nice, soft, easy twist here. On an inhale, come back to center. Pause in the middle for a full breath cycle. And then surrender the knees in the opposite direction. And then a gentle inhale comes back to center. Hug both knees in once again. And then collecting up any layers or props that you want to use to support you during your Shavasana. If you still have that bolster, you can actually take that bolster and place it underneath your knees. Or you can deconstruct your bolster and come back to that opening pose or just a blanket underneath your head, whatever you choose. Go ahead and take yourself there, close the eyes. I count out 10 deep breaths before I enter the adventure of my practice. 10 breaths to bring myself present in the here and now. Ignited by awareness, energy wakes and carries me from effort into ease. Presence itself breathes through me, the unseen substance of love, so tangible and strong that each long breath offers up the key to my release. With the eyes closed, shift the gaze down to the heart. Release any control of your breath back to the wisdom of your body. Let the feet fall away from each other. Let the body sink into the mat, actually feeling the weight of your body just melt into the mat. Sinking into the ease of the breath. Keeping your eyes closed. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Count the in-breath as 1, the out-breath as 2. The in-breath is 1, the out-breath is 2. One more time, breathe in, breathe out. Wiggle fingers, toes, give your head a gentle rock from side to side. Take in any sort of stretch that feels right for you until you're ready to bend the knees. Give yourself a nice squeeze and roll over to the right side. And just taking your time, staying present.
And then use your arm strength to lift you up. Bring yourself back to a comfortable seat. Join the palms together in front of the heart. Take an in-breath here. And as you release the breath, drop chin to chest. Bow into your hands, your heart, and that eternal light within. Using the breath to bring you back to the here and now. Letting go of the effort. Dropping into the ease. It's been my honor to guide you through this practice. Thank you so much for joining me. From my heart to yours, I bow. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. See you again next time on the mat.